Hello, welcome back to the chaos that is Shani and Books. 2023 is not off to a great start. Love that I'm like, I'm gonna try and upload consistently. We have had just every sickness running through our household at the moment, so it's just survival mode. But at the moment, I think we're on the mend and I have a few minutes to try and film. So I'm gonna try and film some videos, starting with the JAN-uary book tag, the JAN-uary book tag made by Jan. This will be my third year doing this one, I think. And I'm not going to miss a year, and I need to hurry up and get this out in January. It is basically just a book tag with some beginning of the year questions, so let's just get into it. Question number 1, what was the last and first, if you remember, book you read last year? So the first book that I read last year in 2023 is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. I really ended up enjoying it. I was trying to start the year off with something short, get the momentum rolling, and I did end up mentioning this in my favorites of the year video as an honorable mention. I have thought about it like all the time throughout the year, and I read it obviously at the beginning of January, so do recommend this one. And the last book that I read in 2023, I do not own a physical copy of, thankfully, because I actually didn't enjoy it. It's called A Carol for Carol. I had an arc of it, and it is a sapphic Christmas romance. And unfortunately, I read some other sapphic Christmas romances during December that were a lot better, in my opinion, than this one. So it's unfortunate that this one ended up not getting the highest of ratings. I still haven't written out my review for that because I'm like, but we're going to move on from that one. Question number 2 is, what is your first read for this year? I'm going to be honest. I started off the year in a reading slump, which is just great. Just the way you want to start off your reading year, in a reading slump. I went quite a few days without being able to read or finish a book. So what I ended up doing is rereading the Tea Dragon Society. I own this one and I read it, I think, a couple of years ago, but I never continued on with the series. But I went to my library and for some reason they don't have the first book, but they do have the second and the third books. Whoa. Okay, let me angle it so the library plastic doesn't reflect light. But yes, then I read the Tea Dragon Festival and the Tea Dragon Tapestry. By the way, the hardcovers, look at the size difference between my paperback and the hardcover. So yes, this kicked off my reading year this year because I was really struggling. And this is what I've done before in previous years, is reread something and then continue on in a graphic novel series. And that helped me to solve that slump. But that was my first reads for this year. Question number 3 is, share 3 of your reading goals this year. What is in my eye? My previous video, which was like 2 weeks ago now, was going over all of my reading goals. So I will leave that linked if you want to see all of my goals. But for 3 of my goals, my Goodreads goal I set to 50. And I would like to read 10 non-fiction and 10 Australian books. I have that as a goal every year pretty much. The only thing I am changing, my Goodreads goal, I made it to 50 this year, which I'm thinking I will hopefully complete and end up bumping up. Question number 4 is, share 3 of your most anticipated titles. I did not prepare for this. I didn't prepare for the questions. So off the top of my head, I'm very excited for the new Sangu Mandana book. I loved The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and I've already forgotten the title of the book that's coming out this year. I love that this is your most anticipated title and I forgot the title name. Something about magical innkeeping. I'll have the picture on the screen. But yeah, I love a cozy fantasy I am discovering, and I really enjoyed the author's previous work, so I'm hoping I'll also enjoy this one. I mean, I have high hopes for the new Emily Henry book. I have yet to give an Emily Henry book 5 stars, but I do think that Funny Story, which is the 2024 release, could be the one. It could be the one. I can't even think of another. I did 3 whole videos in December going through 2024 book releases, and yet every book that is being released in 2024 is skipping my mind. Okay, as always, I'm getting interrupted. Oh, I just thought of one. I have not read an Ali Hazelwood since The Love Hypothesis got all that hype. I haven't read any of her newer releases, but she's coming out with like a paranormal romance. I think it's like a werewolf vampire romance. So I'm looking forward to that one because I'm ready to see her do something different. Because from what I've seen, all the romances that she was putting out are kind of just copies of the previous ones. So I've only read The Love Hypothesis and I did enjoy it when I read it. So I'm excited to see her do something new. So maybe that can be my last anticipated title. But yeah, if you're interested, I did do 3 whole videos talking about anticipated releases. A lot of books that I had never heard of that I just stumbled across and I was just going through in the video. So I'll leave that linked as well. All right. Which goals did you reach or not reach last year? Again, I went over all this in my goals video. I did reach my number of books. Actually, I pretty much did all of the goals besides the 10 nonfiction. So that's the one I want to focus on this year, is the 10 nonfiction, because in 2022, I finished that goal on the very last day of the year. And then last year I was 3 books short. So 2024, I need to get on the nonfictions. Not that I'm forcing myself to read them. Like, I enjoy nonfiction. I just don't prioritize it over other things. So I definitely read what I want to read. But I would just like to read more nonfiction, just because it's good to have a varied reading taste, I think. I don't know. What are some reading habits you want to change this year, if any? Well, one thing I would like to change is not going into a reading slump in the March-April times. The last 2 years in a row, I've gone into a reading slump around March that's lasted until June-ish. So that is not going to happen this year. I am determined. I've not spoken about it, I don't think, besides in live shows, I think. But my March book club pick, I think I'm going to make it Big Little Lies, because I have been saying that is my favorite book for the last couple of years. So I want to do a reread, and hopefully people will read along with me and we can discuss it together live. But I think a reread might help me not get into a slump. But I guess that's not really a habit, but that is something I want to change this year. I've refused to let it happen. Are there any adaptations you're excited about? No. I'm just going to stop caring about adaptations, because I don't watch TV, I don't watch movies, and anytime I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch this adaptation, I never do. I haven't watched any of the recent things that have been adapted at all. So I'm just going to say no for this one. If there is something that's been adapted that you think I should watch, maybe I can do. I just can't. I don't like TV. I know Heartstopper everyone loves. I have not watched it. I've obviously read the graphic novel, have not watched the show. I feel like that's the most popular one at the moment, but I haven't watched any. No matter how much I love the book, I just haven't watched them recently. Question number 9, favorite bookish memory of last year. Okay, I got interrupted again. I forget what question I was up to. But as I was saying, I think that my year was off to a great bookish year. I did have Sasha, her channel is Sash Reads, stay with me over New Year's. She and her family were on a big drive, literally like across the entire country, and my house happened to be around the halfway point. So she stopped here, and her husband and her kids stayed for a couple of nights. So New Year's Eve was one of those nights. So we did start off the year together, which was a great kickstart to my year. What else happened in 2023? Oh, I made it into Kayla's Booktuber's Favorites vlog, which Kayla's vlogs are like my favorite thing, if you couldn't already tell. So making it into her Booktuber's Favorites video of the year is like my Booktube goal achieved. Like, I can just leave now because that was everything. So checked that one off the Booktube bucket list. And then I also started my book club, which is fun. So if you want to read some books with me in the new year, I will leave links below. Usually I post about everything on my Instagram. I've been a bit slack about posting the books because the thing I forgot about when I started this book club, I was like all excited because I'm like, yes, I'm going to be able to read all the books for the book club because I'm picking them. So it will be books that I want to read. But what I failed to think about is the fact that me picking the books means I have to pick the books, and I'm so indecisive, and I keep flip-flopping between the books that I want. There's just so many good books. That's the problem. There's so many good books and there's not enough time. So I've been a bit indecisive about what books I want to pick as the monthly books. But if you want to follow the Instagram for the book club, it's just at Baby Chaos Book Club. That is where I will post about all the books, because I don't think I'll make like a dedicated video on YouTube announcing the books because I just feel like people don't care about that. So so starting the book club was fun because I'd never done live shows on my channel. Like, I'd been on other people's, but I'd never just done it myself. So it was a bit nerve-wracking, but also exciting. So that was a fun thing that happened in the year. Also, my Booktube channel reached 1,000 subscribers, which was a fun milestone to hit. And another milestone is I got my channel approved for monetization on Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, I got the little approval thing, which is also exciting. I mean, I'm not going to make very much money. It's like literally 20 cents a day. But it's not about that. It's about the milestone that I hit. So that was some fun things that I did this year that were bookish or booktube related. Oh, I just thought of another fun bookish thing I did. I posted some videos sharing some bookish related art that I made. So you can check out those videos if you want. That's something that I did. I started doing that like years ago and I just got too scared to post it. So it was nice to have the courage to actually post. So I think that's it. And then question number 10 is carryovers from last year that you still plan on finishing. I mean, not really. Anything that I was halfway through, I am just like, if I'm going to continue reading them, which some of them I am, I'm just going to restart it. So yeah, I think that's it. But yes, that's the January book tag. Let's hope we all have a very successful reading year in 2024. I'll leave Jan linked. She created this tag. I'll leave her tag video, her channel, everything is linked below. I love Jan, so of course I'm going to do anything that Jan does. So I'm going to try and pre-film some other videos if I can now before my child interrupts me for a fourth time. Thank you so much for watching. I'm hopefully going to get back into the swing of things for 2024. But yeah, I think that's it.